Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Dreams to Keys Realty. I am Jalon Strong, the Essential Millennial Realtor and the Realtor here at Dreams to Keys Realty. Welcome once again to another video, another live on YouTube and TikTok. Welcome on both platforms. We're typically on both platforms every time we go live. So make sure that you follow us on every platform that we have. We're on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. To find us on those platforms, make sure that you go to the link in our bios and see those social media icons at the top of that page that opens up. And that will help you stay connected with us. Make sure that you follow us on those platforms, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube so that you can make sure that you are sticking with us anytime that we have new information. Anytime new information is put up, uploaded, going live on our platforms, you want to know, because if you don't want to be a homeowner, someone around you does, and you want to make sure that they know the information that is needed when they need it. We all want to know information that is pertinent to us or important to us at the time that it is important to us. So the best way to get in the know if you want to buy a home in the United States of America is to make sure that you're connected with someone who's always given that information or has access to people that can help provide that information. And that's exactly what we do here at Dreams to Keys Realty. Thank you all for joining and welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to start off with our highlight of the week. This week, it is our Google review. So if you have benefited from any information, any product, any service that we provided, we'd really love if you would leave us a review. And hopefully that review is positive. We want to make a positive impact on our community, on our customers, on our clients, on our colleagues, or those that are also real estate experts. We want to make sure that we're making a positive impact. So we'd love to see more reviews. We've seen our views go up on our last video, so we thank you all so much. We've also seen our subscriber count go up. So thank you all for being invested in our videos and the knowledge that we put out, and also being willing to follow and subscribe to our channel so that you can get more information. If you have seen a video that has helped to benefit you, if you called our office and we have given you information that helped you on your journey of home ownership, if you have been a client of ours and you benefited from just our operations and the services that we provided toward being a home buyer or seller, or even in the rent to own space, if we've made a referral for you, please leave us a review. We really appreciate it. For those of you who are on TikTok and you would like to join us on YouTube as we share some pertinent information, today we're going to show some documents. We're going to show websites or a website to reference the program we'll be discussing. If you want to see that, make sure that you go to the profile, click the link in the bio, find the YouTube icon, and join us here on YouTube. Once you get here, please like, follow, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell and make it say all so that you can see all of the information that we are putting up. All right, so before we get into our program today, we're going to talk about our consultation process. If you are interested in getting to a free consultation with us, that's very easy to do. So you can go to the link in our bio, and I'll put up our moving banner as well. You can go to this link, beacons.ai/Jalon Strong. That will take you to the same link in the bio. And from there, you can find the tab that says Talk, Let's Talk. It also say consultation in the subtitle. That is the link that you want to click to make sure that you are scheduling a consultation with us. The consultation itself is free if you show up. If you, for whatever reason, schedule the consultation and you do not show up, there is a $15 no-show fee. We want to make sure that we are optimizing our time and that we are talking with people who are serious about their home ownership journey. So if you are not serious, or if you need to change your date, please do so that we don't have an opportunity lost for someone who is really looking for that space and would benefit from our services. So please schedule your free consultations today by going to the link in the bio. You can also see the link moving about at the lower part of your screen or a lower part of this video where you can see beacons.ai/Jalon Strong. And I'll keep that up for some time. Like I said, you can also click the link in the bio and we will move forward. So today we're going to be talking about the Gwinnett County, Georgia Homestretch program. We intended to talk about this in the last live when we talked about the Georgia Dream program, which if you haven't checked that video out, please go back and check it out, especially if you are looking to own a home in the state of Georgia. That is a statewide program that we discussed last week on a live. So make sure if you have not checked that out, and you're interested in being a homeowner in the state of Georgia, whether you're looking to be first time, and we define what first time means for that program, and we're going to see a similarity here with the Homestretch program, but make sure that you look at that live. There was some valuable information, and it seemed like we got some viewers who are interested more about that type of information because our subscriber count increased after that live. So make sure that you check it out. After the replay, I'll try to add it in to this video somewhere. So make sure that if you don't see it added into this video, that you just follow us and subscribe to our channel. It will be and is still on our page right now on our YouTube channel. All right. So we're going to move into the Gwinnett County Homestretch program. So this is not a statewide program. It is a county-specific program. So Gwinnett County is our primary market. I service Gwinnett County, Fulton County, and DeKalb County. So if you are looking to purchase a home in any of those counties, you want to contact me to become your realtor or real estate agent. We defined what the differences are in a previous video. I might have some time to add that into this on the replay, but you definitely want to contact our office. We are available. We have free consultations, as I mentioned previously, and we're willing and ready to help you on your home ownership journey. So Gwinnett, Fulton, and DeKalb counties, if you are looking to become a homeowner in those counties, definitely contact us through the link in the bio. You can schedule your free consultation by the link that you see moving about at the bottom of your screen, which is also the link that is in the bio. All right, so I'm going to start presenting. I'm going to share my screen. First, we're going to start off with the Gwinnett County's website, where they talk about the Homestretch program. And from there, there's a document that is a PDF that describes more of the details of the program. So we're going to start with the website, go to the document, and flow through the document. And that will conclude our addressing or assessment of the program for today. After that, we'll do some Q&A. So as we're going through all of this, please leave comments, like, follow, subscribe, all of those good things. Leave comments on either platform. And as I see them, I'll get to them. And even if I see the comments after this live, I try to reply. So I will be doing that as well. If there's something that you feel like you need to talk with me one-on-one about, feel free to schedule that free consultation and we can have that discussion. There are openings still remaining for this month, and there's some open for next month as well. As the holidays come about, we may have some less activity in the business office, but there are still opportunities for both months for you to get in contact with me and have a free consultation. So don't fret, that is still available. So now we're going to work on looking at the website. So give me just a minute while I pull that up. And hopefully you guys will be slowly seeing on the screen the Gwinnett County Homestretch Down Payment Assistance Program. Like the Georgia Dream, this is a program that offers down payment assistance. The Georgia Dream Standard and the Georgia Dream Peach Plus offer down payment assistance when we looked at that program. But for you to get all the details about the Georgia Dream, you want to check out our previous live where we discussed all of the 3 tiers that are in the Georgia Dream program. So this is the Gwinnett County's Homestretch Down Payment Assistance Program. So Lawrenceville, we have Beaufort, Snellville. There's so many cities that are in Gwinnett County. So if you're not sure if you're looking to purchase a home in Gwinnett County or not, but you know you're in Georgia, somewhere around Atlanta, but not exactly Atlanta, this is a bit more north of Atlanta. So if you're not sure if where you would like to buy a home is considered Gwinnett County or not, we can definitely have a conversation about that. But also that is something we can discuss in the free consultations, or you can just do your own searches about the type of community that you see yourself living in and what you see yourself living around. And that may very well be a space in Gwinnett County. So let's start off on the website. We're going to read this first part, and then we're going to move to the other section, which is the overview. You see the overview highlighted here, and it's going to cover the remaining parts of eligibility, directions, pre-approval, pre-qualification comes up. We're also going to see pre-application, where the lender falls in, deeds, title. We're going to talk about a lot this morning. So buckle up, get in the know, get connected with us. This is a good time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and set it to all so that you can see every video, every live that we upload or that we're here for live. If you're once again on TikTok and you want to see what we're sharing, make sure that you go to our profile, click the link in the bio, and click the YouTube icon. We are looking at live websites and PDFs regarding the Gwinnett County, Georgia Homestretch program. So if you want to see that with us, you can do that right now with those directions. Click the profile, click the link in the bio, and also go to the YouTube icon. We'll see you there. All right, so starting from the top, I always like to read what it is, and then we talk about what that means. So the About the Program section says, the Homestretch Down Payment Assistance Program provides down payment assistance to income-eligible first-time home buyer who has the capacity to purchase a home but lack the money needed for a down payment. We offer down payment assistance up to $10,000 as a 5-year deferred payment loan with 0% interest. The loan does not need to be repaid as long as the funded home buyer occupies their home as their primary residence for a period of at least 5 years. So let's pause. We learned some things right here already. We learned, as the name of this program dictates, it's a down payment assistance program for those that are income eligible. And that's something that we'll dive deeper into in the document that I'll go to next. But there are some income restrictions that we'll look at, right? So we know that down payment assistance, income restrictions. We also learned that it's for first-time home buyers. Now, for those of you that were not here for the last live, when you see first-time home buyers, never assume that it's someone that never assume that it's someone who's never bought a home before, because programs like we have seen with the Georgia Dream, have other stipulations where you may have bought a home before, but it's just been some time since then. So we're going to clarify with the next document what they mean by first-time home buyers. So that's something to know. That's something to think about. When someone says first-time home buyers, what do they mean by that? At face value, you would think it means someone who's never bought a home before, but we've learned better, right? So that's not what that means all the time. So we've learned those 3 things thus far. Down payment assistance is available to income eligible, which we'll talk about later, for first-time home buyers that cannot meet the need of the down payment. So that makes sense. If this is a down payment assistance program, as it is, that means that you need assistance to make the down payment, of course. So if you already have so much money stored up, you don't necessarily need down payment assistance. When we looked at the Georgia Dream program, we saw that there was a specific value, a specific number or percentage that they looked at to determine if you needed down payment assistance. So that would be something that if I were you and I were looking to use a down payment assistance program, and I want to buy a home, say in Gwinnett County or otherwise, but I'm having a conversation with the lender's representative, who could be a mortgage branch manager, mortgage loan officer. They have different titles. But when you're sitting with them in that meeting, and if you feel like you need assistance to make this happen, you feel like you need assistance to become a homeowner, you have the desire to be a homeowner, but maybe you don't necessarily have funds readily available, you don't have the liquid asset readily available to put anything down toward down payment, closing costs, or what have you. There are some questions that you need to ask and that they need to answer regarding down payment assistance, and how can that be handled for you? How can you be helped in the process? So make sure that you're asking questions, especially when money is involved. And this is for most people, the largest purchase that they'll ever make is buying a home. The largest debt that you'll probably ever see is buying a home. Now, what may be close for a lot of people is student loan debt, but buying a home is probably the most expensive purchase that most people make. And that's why it's caused so much anxiety sometimes and so much fear, because if you've never done it before, especially, there's a hesitancy there of not wanting to do something wrong that could impact you financially or on your debt to income ratio. So ask questions. We're here to help. We're here to advise, especially to our clients. Customers, we can only do so much, but clients, that's where you get the biggest benefit. And we look to our lenders representatives or our lenders because they are the financial experts. So there's a lot of questions. If you have questions about programs for your loan or down payment assistance, you definitely want to tailor in with your lender. Get very comfortable with talking to that representative, because this is the person that's going to be addressing your concerns and also making sure that your underwriting is done properly and all of that. That's who is facilitating that. That part is not your real estate agent. That part is with the lender. So get comfortable. We have preferred lenders for a reason, because we've built different relationships with them that we know they are looking to service our clients. We have the scenarios that match. We have the client bases that match. We are looking to facilitate home ownership to the same areas or communities, and we have the desire to do so in a positive way. So we've made those connections and built rapport together, which is why we have preferred lenders. And if you're not aware, we have a preferred lender who has an application process or a connection process that you can start right from the link in our bio. So there's so many ways, so many things that we do at Dreams to Keys Realty that help the home buyers and home ownership process. And you have to get connected to us to reap all of those benefits. So I'm going to get off that soapbox for a while, and we're going to stop sharing this document or this website so we can get to the document. So put in the comments your thoughts. What does that so far mean to you? What does that look like to you? Is that beneficial? Is that positive? What do you think about that program just off of its overview or its introduction? And we're going to look more into it with the overview link. So I click that link and it takes you to a PDF. When we were on the website just a minute ago, there was a section that said overview. And I clicked that, and we're going to review that document. That document goes through a lot of things in more detail than the website did. So that's why I want to pull up the document and make sure that we're reviewing that. Once again, to those that are joining on TikTok, make sure that you click the link in the bio and go to our YouTube page so you can see what it is that we're actually talking about and we're actually reviewing. We are looking at the Gwinnett County Homestretch Down Payment Assistance Program. We're going through the document and we're going to talk about each section. Let's see some taps, some hearts on the screen if that's good information, if that's something that you would enjoy. And let's definitely see you on YouTube if you want to check out live with us, or even if you want to check it out on the replay, that's fine too. So I'm going to now share the PDF document. Hopefully you all are able to start seeing that. So Let's start from the top as we always do. First-time applicants are eligible to receive up to $10,000 of down payment assistance on a home located in the Gwinnett County area. That is up to $349,000 for previously constructed homes and $410,000 for new construction homes, effective September 1st, 2024. Let's pause. Thus far, we see, again, first-time applicants are eligible. So what if I were you and I were interested in a program like this, then I would want to define what first-time applicants mean. First-time homebuyer is maybe different than first-time applicant. Are they saying here that you've never applied for this program before? What are they saying here? And they may break it down a little bit further, but let's really pay attention to the details so we make sure that we're not missing anything. Okay, so first-time applicants, we see that. We see $10,000 of down payment assistance is available if you're buying a home in Gwinnett County. We also see that the home has a price point maximum or a purchase price maximum. It depends on the construction timing of the home, if it's considered previously constructed or a new construction. There's a higher limit for the maximum amount for the home purchase if it is a newer construction home. That amount is $410,000. This all is related to this year as of September 1. And for the previously constructed homes, it's $349,000, again, as of September 1 this year, 2024. So that's a good bit of amount of information. Some things we didn't get from the previous website, such as the maximum purchase price amounts. So that's good information to know. We're going to go down. So we see the assistance. This assistance is provided as a 0% interest, 0 payments, 5-year deferred payment loan, meaning that as long as the homeowner remains the primary resident through the maturity date of the security deed, the lien is canceled and no payments are required. Let's pause. So we learned some of these things from the website. We learned that there was 0% interest. For some people, this 0 payment designation is a detail that's very important. And 5-year deferred payment loan. Now, they're specifying, as they did on the website, that there is a condition to this program. And the biggest condition is that you have to use this home as your primary residence for 5 years. We're soon going to see what they mean on how they reduce that payment down through the security deed. But as long as you stay in the home for 5 years as your primary residence, you can use this program if you're eligible, if you qualify, for no money toward the loan and no interest. That's good news. So when we as realtors tell you or ask you, is this somewhere that you would want to live for the next 3 to 5 years? For this program, you need to live here for at least 5 years. If the answer to our question is ever no, something like this could not be used. When you are receiving money toward your home purchase, as beneficial as it is, as affordable as a program like this makes it, be aware that this is money that is being given to you for a purpose. This county, this program is helping to assist with home ownership in this county. They want to make sure that there's not a rapid turnover, that people are serious about being here and staying here in the county, and that they're able to see that benefit of being a homeowner. So I think programs like this are beneficial for a lot of homeowners. And if this is something that you're interested in, you definitely want to contact us so that we can get you connected with our preferred lenders and get you started on a path toward home ownership. Beginning on the first anniversary date of the security deed, so now we know security deed is in place, which if you know what a security deed is, then you would expect there to be a security deed. What a security deed is, and I'm sorry that I'm breaking up the sentences of reading the document, a security deed pretty much says that the lender has rights to the property. The security deed signifies that the lender has the right to the property because they're putting money up for it, right? So they're securing that with the property. Beginning on the first anniversary date of the security deed, which you would receive, which will be produced after the home closes or the loan closes, the principal will be reduced by 20% each year. So let's back it up. If you are on a 5-year deferred payment loan, where the stipulation is that as long as you stay in this home for 5 years, you don't owe anything. How they work that out is they reduce the principal because, again, there's no interest in this program. They reduce the principal every year by 20%. So if they do that 5 times, 0% reduction, you're done, right? I'm sorry, 100% reduction and you're done, right? So individuals that have not owned property in 3 years qualify as first-time applicants. All right, we got our question answered. I asked the question with the first section where it said first-time applicants because in the website or on the website, we referred to more like the first-time home buyers, right? And so what I pointed out was there could be a difference between what they consider a first-time home buyer and a first-time applicant because you have to apply for this program, right? But you may have bought a home before. This may be your first time applying for this program, but not your first time being a homeowner. So I asked that question, right? They have answered the question. Individuals that have not owned property in 3 years qualify as first-time applicants. What that could mean for you is maybe you have purchased a home before, but that was 4 years ago. You sold that home. You could use this program should you be eligible and want to live in this county, right? So what this program would then mean is in the next 3 years, if you don't want to have to pay the principal back, because let's say, based on how this is broken down, let's say that you wanted to follow that trend of every 3 years, maybe you like to move around. That's your prerogative. But for this program, what that would mean for you is that you would have to pay some principal if you decided to do this after using the program. If you don't want to pay anything back, then you have to stay in the next home for 5 years. I hope that makes sense. So you could be a first-time applicant for this program if you have not owned a property in the last 3 years. And what they're not saying here is individuals have to have not owned a property as their primary residence in the last 3 years. So there are people that own multiple properties, but they may only live in one or only one during certain times of the year. So if I were you and you were interested in this program and you have that question or you have that concern, that is something you would want to ask of your lender or the lender's representative to be clarified. What may not be an issue for one could be an issue for the next. We can't always assume that because someone is using this program that they don't have certain areas or assets of life that need to be clarified for the utilization of this program. We don't want to assume anything about someone's profile, financial profile, asset profile. We don't want to assume that. We can't assume just because they are looking to use a down payment assistance program that they have not owned properties in different areas of life before. Life has happened to us all, right? So that's something that you may want to consider asking your lender or lender's representative. Let's move to the next section. This loan qualifies as a soft second mortgage and can be applied to any regular fixed rate loan. For example, FHA, VA, or conventional without an adjustable rate mortgage component. Let's pause. All right, that was loaded a little bit. Maybe if you didn't know some of these terms. So, soft second mortgage. That essentially means a lot of what we saw with the previous section. The primary mortgage is going to be what's actually paying for the home purchase. So moving up to where we saw the maximum amount for the purchase prices. So let's say this is a new construction home. And the maximum purchase price for this program is $410,000. That's not saying that you don't need pre-approval and all those things. You still do. But for this program, you cannot exceed that $410,000 if you're looking to buy a new construction home at the time of using this program, right? Based on where we are today. So the primary mortgage is that mortgage that pays for the purchase of the home. This program is used to help with down payment assistance. That's the primary purpose of this program. So it will come secondary to what's purchasing the home, the mortgage option that is purchasing the home. Does that make sense? That's the part that makes it a second mortgage. It will not supersede, for example, your VA, your FHA, or your conventional. And it stipulates with this program that those must be without an adjustable rate mortgage component. So most of the time you'll see fixed rates. With those programs, you're likely to see 30-year fixed rate mortgages. This is a soft second mortgage, which will come secondary to that mortgage. Should anything happen where there needs to be debt recovery for either mortgage, the first one that will be covered is the one that purchased the home, the VA, the FHA, or conventional fixed rate mortgage, for examples. Does that make sense? So it makes it soft because this is zero payment, zero interest, payment is deferred, all those things. It's essentially you could owe nothing toward this program as long as you abide by the constraints of it by living in this home within the next 5 years. And then that loan is canceled, the lien is canceled. And what happens after a security deed is satisfied is that the homeowner gets a satisfaction, actually. The homeowner gets a satisfaction of security deed, which essentially says the lien is canceled. We no longer have rights to this property. The measures that we needed to be satisfied have been, our end of it is done. So that's what you should expect to see. Now, even because there is a security deed on a property, the homeowner still has equitable title. And that's something maybe we can discuss in next, future lives. But the security deed does not eradicate or eliminate the homeowner from having equitable title. And we'll talk about some of that in a future live, probably, if that's something you're all interested in. If that's something you are interested in, let's see some comments, some likes, some hearts. Tap the screen on TikTok. Let's see some likes on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and make sure that it says all so that you can get all of the information that we're putting out here for you to learn from. Okay, moving on in the document. The program will not participate with any form of 203K repair or escrow type loans. So essentially, 203K is like a repair loan. So it's one of the FHA loans primarily where you see that you know that the home needs repair when you're looking to purchase it, and you want those repairs factored into the lending process. So when you're getting your financing, you're also getting the financing needed for the repair costs. So this is saying the program is not participating with any other form of loan that's doing that or is covering escrow. So if you felt that you needed to use one of those types of programs, like a FHA 203K, you would not qualify for this program. In-depth discussion with your lender can kind of help you tailor which programs are best for you, and they can describe reasons why or why not to use certain programs and why or why not to use certain loan options if you're in need of a program. So if you really need down payment assistance, and let's say this is the best option for you, what could you do to kind of offset the repair costs? Maybe there's negotiations that as your real estate agent or realtor, if you are my client, that we would have as far as negotiation of repairs and whatnot toward that home purchase without using that type of repair loan. So there's some discussion between all three parties, the client, the real estate agent or realtor, and the lender or lender's representative to kind of facilitate what is best for the client. So be prepared to be on the phone, on emails, in constant communication during this time, because it's going to benefit you in the end to get the best results and to have people in your corner, such as your real estate agent, realtor, or lender's representative to advocate on your behalf. We're only going to advocate for what you need, what you desire, and what is within legal ramifications. So as long as all of that is taken care of and we're doing things with ethics and honesty, then we'll be happy to do that for you. So we have to have those discussions, though. We can't assume as realtors what will be best for you. There are people that may think that, well, you should just know that I don't want to have to do repairs. Whereas someone else would say, I don't mind that. I fix things all the time. I enjoy fixing things. I'm a contractor myself. So we never really know unless we ask, and we can't assume for you. We can ask the question, you can answer or not. But this is a home that you're looking to live in because this is one for primary residence. So it has to be, your question to answer, not necessarily the real estate agent's. So be aware of that for this loan program. Short sale agreements must have written approval from the bank owner prior to consideration. So a short sale, if you're not familiar with what a short sale is pretty much where the loan is upside down. The home is not worth what is remaining on the loan. So in that case, a short sale could occur if the lender decides to agree to settle for a lower amount to sell the home. They could forgive the remaining balance, or they could decide to work out the remaining balance with that homeowner at that time. So if that is a case for a home that you are looking to purchase, there needs to be some documentation from the seller's agent on behalf of the seller that describes in written approval from the bank that this is worth consideration. This is something they would consider. The short sale naming makes it seem like it's a short process. It may not be that short of a process for a short sale. So keep that in mind. The purchase of HUD homes may be considered with full understanding that the home must pass our Uniform Physical Condition Standards Program inspection before approval. So you'll see that abbreviated as UPCS. And that's something the inspector can help us to make sure is up to the approval standard. But that's something that has to go through the HUD process. So there's so many things to consider, as you can probably see. Now let's look at qualified applicants. Qualified applicants must submit a pre-application package containing pre-application package checklist, 3 bureau credit score report with at least 1 credit score of 580% or higher. 8-hour applicant pre-purchase class certificate from a HUD approved agency, pre-approval letter from the mortgage lender, executed purchase and sale agreement on an eligible property, which is not required to be submitted with the pre-application. So pre-application package checklist, all those things are things we could go to the website or go to the lender for. The 3 bureau credit score is something that the lender will pull. It's not what you pull. So it's kind of a tri-merge credit report. So that's something that has to reflect all three at the same time. It's a very robust credit pool. So it's not one that you would do. And at least one of those must demonstrate a credit score of at least 580. So when we talk about credit repair, we've talked about some ways to implement strategies to improve your credit. We have the DIY credit repair kit on our website and in the link in the bio. If that's something that you're interested in, we have the Credit 411 ebook, which is something we give free for those who schedule the free consultations and actually complete it with us. So there's so many avenues that we have and our lenders have to help improve your credit scores and remedy issues with your credit report. So if that's something that you need you need help with, make sure that you contact us, get to our ebooks, get to our website, and let's get those things fixed. We want you to also speak with the lender in advance of fixing those things, because sometimes fixing an issue on your credit report can knock down your credit score, and we don't want you hindered or having to delay your home purchase for some time because of that. So let's definitely, talk to our lenders, have that discussion, and then after that, during that discussion, ask them questions about what you've seen on your credit report, what your credit score is. So you want to come into that meeting knowing your own status about your credit portfolio. And then, let them know the issues that you've seen and the best strategy or timing to correct those things so that you aren't hit on your end when you're looking to purchase a home. We don't want your credit score dropping while you're looking to purchase a home, because that's something that they're constantly looking at your credit report, even up until closing, okay? The HUD approved agency 8-hour applicant pre-purchase class certificate. So that's something you would have to do for this program. So be prepared to spend some time receiving education from the HUD. The pre-approval letter, of course, will come from the mortgage lender. The executed purchase and sale contract will come from your real estate agent or realtor after you make the offer, it's accepted and acknowledged, and then that will be sent with this application, okay? Upon receipt of the completed pre-application package, the applicant will receive an appointment checklist form that details the documentation requirements to determine program eligibility. So they want a pre-application package, then they will give you a checklist form. This will help to determine your eligibility. The applicant is required to complete the appointment request form. So it's an appointment checklist form, sorry. I said applicant or application. So the applicant is required to complete the appointment request form, recognizing that they must have copies of all documents prepared at the time of their appointment. So once you complete your once you complete your pre-application package, you will receive the appointment checklist form, and there will be an appointment schedule for you. You need to have all of the documents necessary from that checklist form at the time that you go to the appointment. Interested applicants may submit a pre-application form once they have been pre-qualified by a lender. So I mentioned earlier that pre-qualification comes up, and this is where it comes up. Up until this point, we have not spoken about pre-qualification, and it is something that has been thought to be insignificant for the home purchase process. But here, this program is saying that you can start the pre-application form process even when you're just pre-qualified by the lender. The pre-qualification is not where the lender is pulling your tri-merge credit report. It is where the lender is pretty much taking what you've described as your financial scenario and seeing based on that what you could be qualified for. So it's something that they're not confirming the details of by doing any pulls or asking for a lot of documentation from you. But based on what you've said, this is what you could qualify for. So this program is saying that even at that stage, you could start the pre-application form. Appointments are made in the order in which formal application appointment requests are received. For the intake appointment, copies of all the required documentation listed on the pre-application and application checklist form are required. So there's going to be some documentation that you need. You need to have it all with you at the time of that appointment. After the applicant has been determined eligible based on household size and income and has presented at least one current credit score of 580 or higher, the Community Development Office will perform in-house underwriting by obtaining a free mortgage loan application from the lender, a first mortgage loan application from the lender. The applicant must have at or less than 43% front-end debt-to-income ratio, which is a client's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance over their monthly gross income, or at or less than 55% back-end debt-to-income ratio, a client's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance payments, including any recurring debt installments over their monthly gross income. Let's pause here. So here we see more about the eligibility. We know that there's a credit score limit. We need 580 or higher. We know that there will be some household size and income limitations, okay? We know that we need a primary mortgage. We need a first mortgage loan, and that underwriting and all of that application will come from the lender. Now we have some terms such as front-end debt-to-income ratio and back-end debt-to-income ratio. What is typically meant by front-end debt-to-income ratio is typically about the housing perspective. When we talk about the sale of a home and the home purchase process, front-end debt-to-income ratio is related to housing expenses. And typically we're talking about monthly gross. Back-end debt-to-income ratio is talking about non-housing. Typically, when we're talking about the sale of a home or the purchase of a home, back-end debt-to-income ratio is typically discussing non-housing expenses, such as credit card debt, things of that nature, also on the monthly gross level. So it's debt to income. So we're still talking about debt to how much you're bringing in as monthly gross. All right. So there's a stipulation of at or less than 43% front-end debt-to-income ratio, or, I'm sorry, and. I said and, but it's or. I said or, but it's and. So at or less than 43% front-end debt-to-income ratio, and at or less than 55% back-end debt-to-income ratio. So there's two debt-to-income ratios that are being considered for eligibility in the use of this program. So if you don't have a handle on your debt-to-income ratio, this is where you need to find it if you're looking to use this program. Upon completion of the underwriting, the applicant will be issued a preliminary certificate of program eligibility stating approval to receive down payment assistance at the time of closing. The certificate will remain valid for 180 days from the applicant date. That's something that you want to know. It's important. That's a good window of time, right? That's a good window of time. So you have time to find your home, at least with this program, without rushing, right? So you have about 6 months. You have about 6 months from the time that you receive that preliminary certificate of program eligibility to use this program. Now, you also have to watch for the primary mortgage or the first mortgage and the time frame you have from that pre-approval. So there's some dates that you want to keep up with. Hello, is it Mo? Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you want to check out what we're viewing on our YouTube page, go to the link in the bio, click the link in the bio, and click the YouTube icon. It's a play button. We're looking at the Gwinnett County Homestretch Down Payment Assistance Program. All right. So once a property has been put under contract, the Community Development Office will conduct an environmental review of the property and authorize a UPCS program inspection. So this is a specific inspection. The Homestretch program pays the initial inspection. If the property requires a re-inspection, then that is completed at the applicant's expense. The applicant is responsible for ensuring that utilities in the home are turned on and made ready for the home inspection. The home must pass the program inspection to receive Homestretch funding. That's good to know. There's a difference between a home inspection and an appraisal. We'll talk a little bit about that in this program on this document, but also if you want to see more details or information about that, maybe put that in the comments and we can work that into a future live. But the inspection must be done through this specific program, and that UCPS we talked about a little bit earlier. So it was the uniform policy. Let me go back up to it because I don't want to say it wrong. The uniform, I did say it wrong, Uniform Physical Condition Standards Program. So it must be done through that way. And that can go through the Community Development Office of Gwinnett County. If the first inspection is, and they have to determine what a pass is, or if it requires initial re-inspection, they would need to determine that, because it could be that they're meaning that something was found that needs to be repaired before anyone moves into that home, or maybe if the current seller, safely stays in that home. Then if that is what they're terming as a re-inspection, then that could come at the applicant's expense. And I will want to clarify with the program and with the lender if the re-inspection has to be with the same inspector, if it also needs to be UPCS program inspection through the Community Development Office, or if it could be an inspector of the homeowner or applicant's choosing. All right. The applicant is responsible for that. They're responsible for the re-inspection and making sure the utilities are stayed on in the home. So if it's at this process, then we haven't got to closing. So as a real estate attorney or agent, realtor or real estate agent, then what we could do when we're drafting our offer is make sure that it's outlined in the offer that the seller maintain the utilities and keep them on throughout this process and up until midnight of closing day, something of that nature, to make sure that the utilities should be on, but it's also not on the applicant who does not own the home at the time to have to pay for it. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's a good practice. The home must pass the program inspection to receive Homestretch funding. So passing is relative to a realtor or real estate agent, because there may be something that comes up on every inspection. But what do they mean by passing? Do they mean that there's nothing to fix, or that the fixtures are not, they're more than cosmetic? So this program, if I were trying to advise my client on it, and my lender comes and says, hey, they're trying to use this program, and I'm looking to say, okay, what does it mean by past inspection? Does it mean that it needs more than paint, a new screw? Like, what does that mean? Because an inspector is going to do each inspector's inspection report can be different. And especially if, like I talked about earlier, if the primary inspector is from the Community Development Office, and then the re-inspection is needed, and that inspection is done by the inspector of the applicant's choosing, they could find different things. The second inspector could find something the first one did not. So what do we mean by pass? So that's something that if I were going to use this program, I would want to know. And that's something that needs to be explained from the program, and the lender may help to get that information to the applicant. But here they say, if the home does not pass inspection, the seller or applicant have the option to pay for repairs. Any inspections following the initial program inspection will not be paid by the Homestretch program. So they're only paying for the first one. Should you need a second one, that's on the applicant. Once the home passes inspection and an appraisal is completed, the Community Development Office will perform a final underwriting based final 10-03 to be provided by the mortgage lender. So the lender is doing a lot of moving parts here, but we also mentioned appraisal in this section, which had not been mentioned previously. So an inspection and appraisal is expected. So an appraiser is not an inspector. They don't necessarily do the same thing. An appraiser is looking to assess for the worth or the value of the property. An inspector is looking more so to evaluate the safety of the property. How safe are you to live in this property? What issues does this property have that can pose risk, hazards to you or anyone else? The appraiser is going to look and see, well, based on what this home has and the homes around it, this home qualifies for up to this amount in value. So they do different things, but they both have to see the property. So they kind of, I think to many people, they may think that they're doing the same thing. So they are not. And there's a lot of training that's involved on both ends. So here they mentioned that once the home passes both, so again, this phrase of passing needs to be clarified. To me as a realtor, passing is subjective, but to the program, to the lender, what do they mean by passing? As a realtor, my question would be, is that more than cosmetic work? You know, I would expect that if a home, let's say, has lead, that maybe that's not what they mean by passing. That would not pass, right? There's some risk there. You know, if there's radon, there's some risk there. But if the paint is chipping and there's no lead there, that's cosmetic. Yes, the repair could be done by either the seller through negotiation of the agreement or the homeowner at the time after they purchase the property. So what does a pass mean? What's a pass? Because passing involves the alternative thought of failure. So what's a pass and a fail? And we're also talking inspection and appraisal. I don't really think of an appraisal as a realtor. I don't think of an appraisal as ever being a failure because, like I said, an appraisal is looking at the value. So the value is what the value shows it is at that time. It has some value. Typically, it would have some value. I have not yet experienced a property that has a negative value or a zero value. And, you know, I'm not an appraiser, but what is a pass? Okay, so those are questions I have as a realtor that the program and the lender would have to segue or come together and answer. So once the program passes inspection and an appraisal is completed, the Community Development Office will perform a final underwriting-based final 10-03 to be provided by the mortgage lender. And so the mortgage lender has to come up with that. So that's why I say that the mortgage lender may have to answer that question in conjunction with the program. The following costs are eligible to be paid for with the down payment assistance: down payment, closing costs, courier fees, homeowners association fees, filing fees, intangible taxes, and prepaid items. So those are things that you typically will see itemized, and we'll talk about the itemized fees, but that is something that you will receive from your lender or lender's representative as you approach closing. Typically within 3 days of closing, you get that final worksheet, that final loan estimate form. Okay, so those are numbers that they can explain. Like I said, the lender and lender's representatives are the financial experts of the home buying process. So they should be answering anything when it comes to the financial side. And also, as a rule of thumb, if someone gives you something and they can't explain it, then taking it to someone else would not be a best practice. You should be asking the question of those that are providing that information to you. And if they can't answer that to you, but they're giving it to you, if they can't answer your questions, then you have to consider and use discernment on whether or not you should be using them for that service. So that's on you to decide as an applicant, a homeowner. That's your decision to make. Applicants are also required to purchase owner's title insurance. I would never advise someone to turn down title insurance because there are things that you may not know about the property. You can't see everything about the property just looking at it. You can't see behind the walls, can't see under the foundation. You can't see, right? There's so many things you just don't know that are happening just unknown to you. And they can also be unknown to the previous homeowner or the homeowner before them. And there's things that can come up later that are from way back when. So you want to make sure that you're protected. So this program requires that applicants purchase owner's title insurance. That's something that I would never tell you to turn down if I were your real estate agent. And the way I become your real estate agent or realtor is you become my client, we sign paperwork. Until then, you are my customer. So that's what I would tell my clients. But I mean, the end choice is yours when you are purchasing a home, but I would strongly recommend purchasing homeowners title insurance. And here it's required. The applicant cannot cash out at closing. So we talked about this being a $10,000 down payment assistance program. Should you not use all that $10,000, you don't get to take the remaining amount home. That's not how this program works. So that's what they mean here about you're not cashing out additional funds. This is for people that need the assistance, and for those that don't need any more assistance, the remaining amount is put back into the program. The applicant must provide up to $1,000 in buyer participation towards the closing. So remember the title of this live, buy a home for $1,000 or less, right? This is where the $1,000 comes in for the Gwinnett County, Georgia Homestretch Down Payment Assistance Program. You need to have at least $1,000 for the utilization of this program. Yes, you will receive down payment assistance through this program. However, you need something toward the program. You need something that makes you a part of the home buying process for the use of this program. So $1,000 is up to the amount that you need. You may not need the full $1,000. We have to be very specific when we read, especially in real estate, read everything and interpret it. The applicant must provide up to $1,000, meaning you may not need the full $1,000, but have the full $1,000 prepared should you need it, right? Okay. The mortgage lender will be responsible for providing the Housing and Community Development Division with the first mortgage loan estimate and itemized origination fees worksheet. Base origination fee cannot exceed 1% of first mortgage. So that's standard. I mean, when you get to an executed contract, which is where an offer was made by the home buyer through the buyer's agent to the seller's agent on the behalf of the seller, and there is approval, so there's signature, and then that is sent back to the home buyer through the buyer's agent. So there is acceptance and acknowledgement. You have an executed contract. So once that happens, the lender is moving. They're contacting the appraiser because as this process dictates, there needs to be an appraisal. They're contacting the appraiser because the appraiser is the client of the lender. They're getting them to start on that process. They're going to utilize the forms such as the executed contract to get that process started. They're going to contact the homeowner and make sure that they have all the documents they need for the underwriting process. Should something come up, this is not the time for you as a home buyer to go buy anything. Anything that will require credit being pulled, you are not to buy during this time. I wouldn't even recommend it until a few days after closing. Let everything close, let all the documents be finalized and filed, let everything settle before you go buying a car and this and that. Don't open another credit card. Do not do it. If it's questionable, do not do it. You don't have time to do it and mess up the whole process of your home purchase. So they're working on that loan estimate for the first mortgage and the fee worksheet. Expect to see those documents within 3 days of closing. Review those documents. As this program outlined, there are some things that this down payment assistance can cover. So look at those numbers and look at what the down payment assistance actually covers. You know from this program that you need up to $1,000 into it, and that this program covers $10,000 worth of down payment assistance. So look at those numbers that it says it's eligible for and see if that equates to $1,000, right? I'm sorry, not $10,000, so that you can make sure it's covered. Ask that question when you're reviewing those sheets with the lender's representative. Make sure that you know what you need to bring to the table, if anything. And it's also a good practice to have some checks, not personal checks, but more of your bank checks. I forget the other name for them, but to have them readily available should you need to put anything down. But with this program covering $10,000, I don't anticipate, based on the maximum purchase prices for the homes for this county, that you would need much to bring, if anything, to the table with this program. But that's a good practice to have, is to have those checks, those bank checks, not your personal checkbook, but those certified checks with you. Now, the Community Development Office will also need the copy of appraisal and the development page for homeowners insurance. The appraisal report will be given from the appraiser to the lender or lender's representative. So that's how they can get the copy. The lender's representative can make sure that that happens. The homeowner's insurance comes from the homeowner looking for insurance for themselves. And they would need to, as the second line says, list Gwinnett County as the second lender on the homeowner insurance declaration page. And that's the language that it would need to have below. So they've provided what it needs to say. That's something you need to know once you get past the executed contract stage, because at that point, you would need to make sure that your documentation is correct. And it's fairly easy to get your homeowner's insurance once you find an insurer for your area. So you would need to let them know that you have two lenders for this purchase, and both would need to be on there. Please submit an attorney first mortgage title commitment to our office. So that's something that maybe the lender can describe more about. And also you might need a real estate attorney to help you with that, because it's an attorney first mortgage title commitment. So those are some additional documents you would need, or additional ways you would have the proper documents. The preliminary and final closing disclosure at closing and closing documents must be reviewed and approved by a housing specialist prior to closing. Upon document approval, the housing specialist will authorize check release for the down payment assistance. So we want to make sure the documents are getting in as soon as possible, so that we don't have a delay in the release of the down payment assistance, especially if you need it at closing, because you don't want to have to pay it out and then get reimbursed. You want it paid out up front. So these are the 2024 income limits based on household size. So we see for a household of one, and this is Gwinnett County, from April 2024 is when this was effective, the income limit cannot exceed $60,200. Let's skip to 3. Household of 3. The maximum income limit for Gwinnett County for this program, the Homestretch Down Payment Assistance Program, cannot exceed $77,400. For 5, $92,900. For 8, $113,550. So you would need to meet the income, not exceed the income limit to be eligible for this program. Hope that makes sense. So that's what you would need to consider. Now we're getting close to the end of the document. We're going to get through these sections and we'll wrap things up with question and answer. So the program timeline, they say, takes 30 to 45 days. And we also saw earlier that the certificate that they provide for the eligibility will last 180 days. So you may need some time to get into the program and get it all worked through, but you do have eligibility for about 6 months. All pre-application documents are submitted to GCCDP, which is Gwinnett County Community Gwinnett County Community Department Program. So these are the things that you need to have: the checklist, the class certificate, loan pre-approval letter, and credit scores. GCCDP, so I'll use that moving forward, sends out an appointment request form once all the required pre-application documentation is received. Applicants are encouraged to contact GCCDP for an appointment once they have put an eligible property under contract. So the appointment process begins after you find the home. Gotcha. That becomes more clear here. The applicant contacts GCCDP when they have an eligible property under contract to set up an appointment based on the schedule of program staff and the applicant. So this part is not on the lender. This part is not on the real estate agent. It is on you as the applicant to schedule that appointment. If you need this assistance, if you need this program, your lender can bring it to you and say, hey, you're eligible, and they can make sure that you have the documentation. But it's up to you to schedule the appointment and attend it with all of the documentation you need. The applicant fills out a formal application and provides the GCCDP staff with all required documentation, ID, proof of income, and asset statements. So asset statement may be something that your lender can help you draft. Proof of income, they can kind of work with that for you as well to tell you what you need to provide for proof of income. ID you should have. So those are things that you would need to have with you when you go for your formal application. Applicants are notified at this time of any documents that are missing that are preventing the final eligibility from being determined and are asked to submit those documents as soon as possible. GCCDP will complete the file once all documentation has been received. After certifying the applicant is eligible, a program's approval certification is issued to the program participant, and the program issues a property inspection authorization. Applicants are given the responsibility of setting up the inspection appointments. Yes, so even with working with a real estate agent or realtor, you are the client, you are, as a home buyer at this time and the applicant for this program, it's your responsibility to set up the inspection. It needs to be coordinated with your real estate agent or realtor because they need to make sure that the property has approval for access at that time, but you would need to be scheduling that. And if there is a fee associated with the inspection, which there typically is, that for this case, the initial fee is covered by this program. But if it's a re-inspection, you would be responsible for that. So you need to be coordinating that and communicating that with the GCCDP for this program. GCCDP will complete the file once all documentation has been received. After certifying the applicant is eligible, a program approval certificate, a program approval certification is issued to the program participant, and the program issues a property inspection authorization. Applicants are given the responsibility of setting up the inspection appointments. Program inspectors submit the inspection reports back to GCCDP. So they still have to submit it to this program. After GC/CDP receives a past inspection report and an environmental is completed, the program participant is entered into reporting system and a payment request is created for review. So here we see environmental being mentioned. So that sounds like there's a specific report or specific information they're looking for in this inspection report. And if I were using this report, if I were someone who had a client who was looking to use this program and I'm not sure what environmental things they're looking for, it could be a wide range. It could be, like we said, the lead, the radon, things of that nature. We may be needing some clarification here from the program. And that's something that would have to be pushed for by the applicant on this end. As a realtor, I couldn't step in and speak on your behalf for this program. It would be something that you would have to discuss with the program yourself. You're having appointments with them and dialogue with them, submitting documents to them. So just be asking also about that as well. Because like they mentioned, it is the responsibility of the applicant to set up the inspection appointments. The payment request is approved and submitted to the Department of Financial Services. The Department of Financial Services processes the payment request. When the assistance check is available, the program participant is notified and the closing is scheduled. That clarified something for me because this says that the closing can't be scheduled until the program participant is notified that the assistance check is available. Good thing to know. So the timeline here is 30 to 45 days. So if I'm a realtor for a client who's using this program, we might want to have things toward the latter end to make sure that you don't miss getting the assistance check before closing. Hopefully that makes sense. And maybe that could even speed up closing. There could be an addendum to the contract, but that's something to keep in mind. GC/CDP will overnight all required legal documents to the closing attorney and will review the closing disclosure to clear the property for closing. So this is needed for closing, right? And here's some information, people to contact should you want to use this program. And of course, this document itself is available online at gwinnettcounty.com. I'm going to stop sharing and get back to our YouTube screen. Does anyone have any questions? Any comments, any questions, anything that's just not clear, that's confusing, that's interesting? Please leave a comment and ask your question. Even if you want to leave it at a later date, if you're watching the replay, leave a comment and we'll get to it as soon as possible. Before we leave, I'll remind everyone that during the holiday season, our business hours will be different. We will not be open during holidays. So you may see a slower pace in our business office for those reasons. However, you can still call our office. If we are in office, we'll answer. If not, we will get back to you when we are back in the office. We are not open on Sundays. We're not open on the holidays coming up. So be aware of that. The best way, if you want to have a one-on-one discussion with me, is to schedule your free consultation. And there are free consultation dates and times still available from the link in the bio, which you can also see moving about at the bottom of your screen, where you can schedule a consultation for the remaining part of this month as well as for next month. So please utilize that service. There is still room available this month for a free consultation. Remember that it's free, but if you do not utilize that time that you scheduled and you don't show up and complete that consultation, there is a $15 no-show fee, which will be assessed to you after not showing up for that consultation time. We want to make sure that we're maximizing our opportunities to reach people that are interested in the home ownership process. And if you utilize space, if you take up space that you're actually not going to utilize, you take away from someone who is looking to be a homeowner and could have used that opportunity and time. So we don't want to waste time. We don't want to waste resources. We want to put our resources and energy and time into those that are interested specifically in becoming home buyers, sellers, or those that are looking to rent to own property. We do not assist with looking for rental apartments. So if you're looking to rent an apartment, we would not be the office to call. We would not be the company to call. You could go through other companies or websites for that. If you're looking to rent to own only, should you call our office, because we, like I said, we'll just have to tell you when you call that we don't offer that service for a rental apartment. Everything that we are focused on here at Dreams to Keys Realty is toward home ownership. So if you're not looking to own a home or a property, then we would not be able to assist you. We can, however, refer you to someone who may be able to help you, but the people that we refer you to also are invested in home ownership. There would not be those that would help you toward finding a rental apartment. We do not have properties ourselves. We can help find the property that you are looking for. We are not managing properties. So if you're looking for property management services, you should not call our office or contact us for those services, because we'll just have to tell you that we don't provide them. So make sure that when you call us, when you contact us for services, that you know we are here to help toward home ownership for home buyers, home sellers, and for those that are looking to rent to own, which is also called lease option or lease purchase. And we want to make sure that we maximize our efforts through those free consultations, but there is a $15 no-show fee should you schedule a time and not show up. We want to make sure that we are talking with people who are serious about their home ownership journey and are looking to advance in it. So that is where we will end things for today. We, of course, will see you at the next live. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure that you follow and subscribe on YouTube, hit the notification bell, and make sure that it says all so that you don't miss any information that we share. Tap the screen on TikTok. We are going to head out of here, but also make sure that you're following us on our page so that you don't miss anything that we share. I think we had a lot of information shared today about the Gwinnett County, Georgia Homestretch Down Payment Assistance Program, information that you may have never heard of, may have never known, and also things that have changed. There's different effective dates from this year. So there were some changes that we talked about. So make sure that if you want to know more details about programs like this or information about the home ownership journey, that you don't miss out because you're following us on our platforms. We are on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and we love to see you in the next live. We hope you enjoy your weekend. This is Dreams to Keys Realty, where dreams turn into keys, and we hope to see you next time.